Okay, wonderful. So thank you guys for joining me today for a 60-minute Yin class. Before we start with physical movements or postures, we're just going to start with a breathing exercise, and it's called triangle breathing. So I'll make a triangle with my hands. And what you're going to do is inhale through the nose for 4 seconds. You'll hold the inhale for 4 seconds, and then you'll exhale for 4 seconds. And then you'll inhale for 4 seconds, hold the inhale for 4 seconds, exhale, inhale. So it's a triangle because you're holding the inhale, but you're not holding the exhale, if that makes any sense. So I'll show you one time and then we'll all do it together. So we're holding the inhale, but not the exhale. One thing you can do if you like I'm having kind of a bad day today, just for no real reason other than this is a weird time that we live in. So one thing that you can do, if it helps you, it helps me, is you can smile. So if you want, especially on when you're holding, you can smile to yourself. So, and that also helps to, when you're holding, the facial muscles are engaged, and then as you exhale, you kind of let everything soften. So you're welcome to smile, but you don't have to. Never let a yoga teacher tell you have to smile. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything in this class. If you ever need to take a break, take a break. If something doesn't feel quite right, ease up, or you can unmute yourself and ask me a question. All right, so we'll start with the triangle breathing. Again, inhaling for 4 seconds, holding the inhale for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds. So are you ready? Exhale completely. And then begin. Inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go slower. Slowly inhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smile. Hold. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly inhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly hold. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue 5 more rounds at your own pace. As you breathe, noticing any tension in the body, any lingering impressions from the day, seeing if you can return your thoughts to your breath. Feel your hips rooted into the floor. Feel the floor holding you up, still sitting upright with the shoulders relaxed. As you're ready, once you've done your 5th breath, just returning the breath to normal. Taking a slow inhale through the nose and a slow exhale through the nose. All right, so we'll start in child's pose. This is a nice way to start to, lengthen the spine, open the hips and shoulders. So I'll show you from the front and from the side. So you'll start with your feet together and your knees separate on your mat. And as you're ready, you'll start to sink your hips down and walk your arms forward. So one day the head touches the floor. So from the side, knees apart, feet together, arms down, palms face the floor, fingers about shoulder width distance. Slowly over time, hips sinking down. Some different variations for you. If your forehead's way away from the floor, you can use like toilet paper or a paper towel to rest the head, okay? You can also have your elbows down. And for a deeper stretch, you can try widening the knees more and sinking the hips down more. So lots of options. We'll hold here for 2 minutes. And again, if you see me using my phone, not that you're looking, but it's because I'm timing. Maybe you don't feel much, or as the posture starts to sink in, maybe it feels quite intense. One of the things about yin is that it's meant to be pretty passive, right? You want a passive stretch. So too much is too much, but too little is too little. And that's up to you. For yin, I would say err on the side of like too little is okay. Like treat yourself a little bit. So again, you want to think about sinking the hips down towards the heels, lengthening out of the lower spine through the middle spine, letting the shoulders soften apart. Maybe reaching the arms forward more, even think about the neck growing a little bit longer, maybe sinking the forehead closer to the floor, but maybe not. Not just is every body different, but every day is a little bit different too. Yeah, and especially your body might feel a little bit different in the last month than it normally does. Maybe your routines are, probably a lot different. Body starts to respond to that. So again, part of yoga is just having some time to check in and just to notice any tension in the body, any thoughts in the mind, and maybe just seeing if you can return your thoughts to your breath. Maybe sinking the hips deeper, or maybe lifting the hips up. Take 3 more slow breaths through the nose. From here, we'll start to stretch the sides of the body. So as you're ready, walk your hands to the right of your mat. Try to press the left hip down to the left hip. You should feel a stretch on the left side of your body. Hips are still low if you want them to be. And at this point, your hips might be starting to, or the inner thighs might be starting to wake up. Maybe it becomes like a little bit unpleasant or a lot unpleasant. Remember, you can always lift the hips up a little higher, can bring the knees in more, or you can sink the hips down more, open the knees more, always up to you. You can also walk your hands a little bit further to the right side and press the left hip further to the left, or you can ease up, bringing the hands back a little bit closer to center. So again, this is kind of a choose your own adventure experience, right? You're going more for sensation and form than depth. So it really doesn't matter how deep into the posture you're going. You just want to feel a stretch on the left side body, maybe a gentle compression through the right torso. Take a slow inhale through your nose and a slow exhale through your nose. Slowly walk your hands back to center. And then this time move your hands to the left side of your mat. You can have the hands side by side or one on top of the other. Maybe notice which hand on top of the other. Maybe press the right shoulder a little to the right, right hip to the right, arms to the left. You can have your head in between your arms, head on the floor, using props if you'd like, a blanket, a paper towel, yoga block. If it feels okay, letting your hips sink even closer to the floor. Take a slow inhale through your nose. And a slow exhale through your nose. As you're ready, walking your hands back to the center, child's pose. Place your hands on the floor. Carefully walk yourself back into a seated position. And we'll just take a moment between postures to lie down on our back in puddle pose. So often in yoga, you hear us talk about savasana or corpse pose, lying on your back, head to the front of your mat, feet to the back of your mat. So in savasana or corpse pose or dead body pose, we have the heels together, toes fall open, arms down close to your sides. It's a little bit confined. In puddle pose, you can kind of let the arms and legs stretch out, so it's a little bit more jazzy freestyle. Maybe rolling the legs right and left, rocking out the hips or the shoulders if you need to. Sometimes the release from postures can be just as intense or even more intense than the postures themselves. So in child's pose and in the moving the hips right and left, we started to open up through the hips and the inner thighs. Sometimes you'll hear yoga folks say, you store like emotion and tension in your hips. And when you start to open the hips, it's not uncommon to cry. You can roll your eyes at that, or you can buy into it, but just know that whatever you feel, be it a physical sensation or maybe an emotional reaction, is perfectly normal, and I really mean that. So, if you're laughing right now, that's great. If you're crying right now, that's normal. Like whatever you feel is normal. Take a slow inhale through your nose, and a slow exhale through your nose. As you're ready, bend your knees, feet to the floor, and then we're gonna roll on to the left side body, taking a moment here in the fetal position, if you will. Okay, great. And then rolling onto your stomach for Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx, you want hands on the floor, elbows bent, and as you're ready, maybe you walk your elbows back a little bit so the elbows are below the shoulders from the side, like this. You are welcome to adjust the posture to your body and your needs by walking your hands forward or even back a little bit, but I recommend keeping the elbows at least under the shoulders and the shoulders away from the ears. Have the feet gently separated, so maybe toes together, heels fall open. Again, it's more of a passive stretch. In hot yoga, which I teach normally, we teach cobra pose, which is quite active with the lower body. And this one, it's more just like sensation of the chest opening. And we'll hold here for 3 minutes. Press the palms into the floor. And right away, notice if the shoulders are tensing up towards the ears. Draw the shoulders down. Crown of the head up. Want to feel gentle, or maybe not so gentle stretch through the lower back, hopefully a gentle stretch, and opening to the chest. Let your toes be soft, pinky toes heavy, and slowly breathe. And you can think about deepening the backward bend, lifting the chest up more, pushing the hips down, or releasing a little bit, walking the hands forward. One thing that we, I think, work on, especially with long holds of postures, sometimes something becomes too intense or too easy, and it's good to change a little bit, deepening the stretch or releasing the stretch a little bit. But conversely, sometimes what happens is we go, oh, this is a little uncomfortable, I need to move, and then 10 seconds later, my nose itches, and then 5 seconds later, oh, you know what, I think I need to fix my shorts, and then 20 seconds later, oh, this is a little bit uncomfortable. So notice the difference between needing an adjustment in a posture, which is wonderful, and needing a distraction from the posture and the current moment. Through yoga, we're learning a mind-body connection, or as I like to call it, Jedi mind tricks. So learning to control the mind rather than having the mind control you. And of course, we can't necessarily control what's going on around us, can't even control our own thoughts or our own body, but hopefully for today, maybe you'll just join me in one controlled breath. Take a slow inhale through your nose, and a slow exhale through your nose, returning your thoughts to the present moment. Again, noticing any sensations in the body as they arise, any thoughts crossing through the mind. Maybe your thoughts are about the posture, but maybe your thoughts have started to wander to like what's for dinner, and that's perfectly normal. Again, using the breath to gently return the thoughts towards the present moment. About 30 seconds left here. Relax your jaw, shoulders. Keep the chest lifted. In all these postures, you can have your eyes open, closed, or I like a soft gaze just beyond the edge of my nose. Wonderful. Okay. As you're ready, put your hands on the floor and push up so you're in tabletop. From here, we're going to go into another chest shoulder opener called puppy pose. I'll show you from the front and from the side. So you want your hips over your knees, knees about hip width distance, feet about hip width distance. Slowly over time, you're gonna walk your forearms to the floor, and eventually you'll walk the arms forward. So one day forehead to floor, one day chest to floor, palms to floor. I'll show you from the side. Trying to keep the hips over the knees, which for me is always a challenge. Again, at first, just sticking your butt up, pushing the chest down, elbows under shoulders, so it's a little bit like Sphinx, like we just did. Slowly over time, you'll walk your hands forward and push the chest down. Some variations, you can bend the elbows and grab the elbows, okay? Again, you can keep the forearms on the floor. You can also use something like a toilet paper roll to put on your head so you're not all the way down. But think about pressing the chest down and sticking the butt up. We'll hold here for 3 minutes. This one gets pretty intense for me, so at some point I will probably have to adjust, right? And just go slow. Maybe at first starting on the forearms, slowly lowering down. Try to keep the shoulders out away from the ears. Let your head drop. Think tailbone up and chest down, belly soft. For my flexi friends, if you don't feel much, you can also bend the arms, palms together. So hands to the top of the head. This is a great way to open through the chest, even the armpits. Nice little back bend. Again, recognizing when too much is too much. And if you go slow, maybe slowly over time getting deeper, never forcing the body. Notice in intense postures in particular, if the mind really wants to wander, and see if you can just sit with some intensity. Are there parts of the body holding tension that don't need to be there? See if you can relax your forehead, your ears, the hands, the feet. Softening the belly. Relax your jaw. About 30 seconds left, knowing you can stay right where you are, maybe going deeper, maybe easing up. All right. And as you're ready, if the hands are flat, you're going to bend the elbows. Everybody carefully pushing back up, noticing any sensations as you come out of the posture. Take a moment to sit upright. Stretch the crown of your head up to the ceiling, shoulders down away from the ears. And then we'll take another minute to lie down in puddle pose, head to the front of your mat. And if you need to roll back and forth or side to side, rolling anything out that needs to be rolled out, that's great. If it is painful for your lower back to lie down with your legs straight, you can always have your knees bent, and you can also always place a little bit of a towel or a blanket under the lower back if that helps as well. And noticing any sensations coming up from the release of the posture. Often when we're in the postures, we're restricting blood flow to one area so that another area gets excess blood, right? Or we're bending one part of the body and then rounding another part, etc., straightening one part, bending one part. So when we release out and let everything flatten, it allows for increased circulation through the body, letting everything stretch out. As you're ready, either keep your knees bent or bend your knees back up, feet on the floor, rolling to the left into the fetal position for a moment, just to lie still. And then as you're ready, put your hands on the floor, pushing back up into a seated position. Great. So next, we will do butterfly pose, okay? So I'll show you again from the front and from the side. You're gonna have your feet together. You can determine how close you bring your heels to your body. You can have them further apart. At first, the knees are quite far up. Eventually, they'll sink down. Know that you can always use, again, like toilet paper rolls underneath the knees, or blankets or paper towels or anything like that. So from the side, eventually the hips sinking down. You can have your feet further away from your hips or closer into your groin. You are welcome to keep your hands by your side or gently use your hands on your knees or thighs to push down. We'll hold here for 2 minutes. And again, sometimes I like to get my butt out of the way. Think about stretching up tall through the crown of the head. So we're about halfway through class. We've done a hip opener before this. Noticing maybe how the hips feel a little bit different. Maybe how they feel the same. Again, getting a passive stretch. Notice how you're breathing. Any tension in the body. Maybe relaxing the jaw, the belly, the perineum. Maybe letting the big toes come apart a little bit. You're welcome to press the knees down more, or again, ease up a little bit, walking the feet away from you. All right. From here, we'll stay in butterfly. Put your hands as best you can on the floor in front of you. At first, it's just the fingertips. And as you're ready, you'll slowly walk your hands forward. Again, you want a passive stretch. You can let your head drop. This is also a nice opportunity if you have like a paper towel roll or a yoga block. You can put your head on the paper towel roll. One day head to floor or head to feet, never forcing the body. We'll hold here for about a minute. I'm going to feel a gentle rounding through the spine. Recommend keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And you can close your eyes or have a soft gaze just beyond the edge of the nose. Take 3 more slow breaths through the nose. When you're ready, slowly pushing yourself up. Take your time. Let's take a moment here. We're going to bring the knees back together. You're welcome to use your hands, knowing that this release can be a little bit intense. Slowly bringing the knees back in. Just take a moment, let your feet stretch out. Roll your knees, feet, right, left, back and forth. All right. From here, we're gonna go into what's called deer pose, and I'll show you starting back from butterfly where we just were. So as you're ready, you're gonna bring your feet back together, knees out, okay? From here, I'm gonna have you bend your right leg on the floor. Notice that I'm not mirroring you. You're welcome to mirror me or do the left, right, it's up to you. The tricky part, what I want you to watch, looking at your yoga mat, try to get your left thigh parallel to the long part of your mat and your left shin parallel to the top of your mat. So your leg should make an L. From here, you're going to bend your right leg back. So eventually knee in line with the hip. You are welcome to bend your left heel closer to your groin or keep the shin parallel to the top of your mat. You might notice that your right hip is way off the floor, and that's okay. You can put both hands to the left of your body. I'll show you from the side. So eventually you're gonna make 2 L's or 90-degree angles. So left hip and left knee in line, left shin parallel, and then right knee and right hip in line, showing you from different angles, right knee and right hip in line, right shin parallel. Now lots of options here. Again, at first the right butt cheek is way off the floor, that's okay. You're always welcome to have a towel behind you or underneath your hips or underneath your right knee to support that, okay? Some variations for what to do with the upper body. You can sit upright. You can walk your hands to the left. You can even have a towel and kind of lean over, okay? You can walk your hands forward or you can walk your hands back and sink back. This is a special posture in the Yin sequence or Yin type of yoga because it's an internal rotation to the right hip, and there's not a lot of opportunities for that. If you practice Bikram or 26 and 2 yoga with me, it's a little bit of the same feeling as fixed firm, like a little bit, not quite, but almost. So it's that internal rotation to the right hip, right thigh. We'll hold here for 2 minutes. For me, I'm gonna walk back, but it's up to you. It's a great way to stretch the hip flexor. Even feel it in the back of my thigh. Maybe bringing your right butt cheek closer to the floor, but maybe not. Again, never forcing the body. I think sometimes in yoga, we force our body, you know, because the person next to us is doing something cool or, you know, we want to impress them. But one of my favorite things about practicing from home is I know that we're all practicing together, but there's no incentive for any of us to impress anybody else, right? Because it's kind of hard to see each other. So remember, you don't have to impress yourself. You don't have to impress the person next to you. All you have to do is breathe. And going more for sensation than depth. So if you're feeling something in the right hip, that's great. If you're feeling too much, ease up. Only you know. A lot of this yoga is just a practice of discernment, seeing what fits, what feels right, and what doesn't. So for the same reason that, you know, sometimes we cry in yoga or just when we're connected to our body and our mind, sometimes we laugh too, right? Like, or if you're uncomfortable, you might find yourself laughing a little bit, and that's normal. It's just your body and mind's way of saying, like, something feels off here, right? So, and however you're reacting, acting, emoting, thinking, it's just great. Take about 30 seconds more here, and you can deepen the stretch, maybe walking forward, back, or to the side more. Ease up a little bit. Take a slow inhale through your nose. And a slow exhale through your nose. As you're ready, carefully walking back up. And from here, we're going to go into Pigeon Pose. So keeping the left knee bent in front of you, you're going to straighten the right leg behind you. I'll show you from the side. So in some styles of yoga, we call this pigeon. In Yin, it's often referred to as swan. So showing you from the side, The left front leg is bent. You're gonna straighten the right leg behind you, okay? You're welcome to keep your hands on the floor in front of you. This is another great one to use a prop. You can put a paper towel under your hips, or a toilet paper or a blanket under your hips. Eventually the hips will sink down to the floor. Show you from the other side, it might be easier. You can keep your left heel close to your right hip, eventually getting the left shin parallel, so knee and ankle in one line, rolling the right hip down. Again, can have a prop under your right hip if it's not sinking down all the way. You're welcome to stay upright or slowly walk your arms down. We'll hold here for 2 minutes with breath and stillness in and out through the nose. One thing you might notice as well in the style of yoga that I regularly teach, that a lot of you guys regularly practice, Bikram or 26 and 2, we often do the right side of the body first. In Yin, we often do the left side of the body first, and that's a nod to this idea of yin and yang. So in yoga, when we practice yoga, hatha yoga, it literally means sun, moon, yolk. Not yolk like an egg, yolk like with a donkey and a cart, right? So the yoke. So sun, moon, yoke, or union, so a union of opposites. In Yin, it's yin and yang. The yang, the right side of the body, the solar side of the body, the masculine side, right? It's more about like action and intensity. So in Bikram style, we always do the right side first, going to the sun first. It's a little bit more active yoga. Okay, in Yin, we try to do the left side first, which is lunar, feminine, passive, right? So you're trying to get a passive stretch as you breathe. Of course, I would be remiss without, mentioning that I don't really believe in binaries. The same way that there's sun and moon, there's also like dusk and gray days and all that stuff, right? So not saying that we necessarily all fit into left or right or lunar or solar or masculine or feminine or whatever that is, but it's just something to keep in mind. We're definitely working on the more passive, relaxed, lunar nature. Take a slow inhale through your nose. A slow exhale through your nose. Great. As you're ready, walk your hands back up. And then to reverse out, shifting your weight to your left hip, bringing the right knee in. Okay, and we're going to lie down on our back in Puddle Pose. Again, you can roll right and left if you need to. Maybe bending the knees, windshield wipering the knees right and left. And then let the arms and legs be heavy. Noticing if the jaw has tensed up. Are your fingers tense? Let the fingers, palms be heavy. Pinky toes heavy towards the floor. Think about melting a little bit more into the floor like a puddle. Take a slow inhale through your nose. And a slow exhale through your nose. So we'll do the other side. As you're ready, bending your legs so the feet are on the floor, rolling to the left, in the fetal position for a moment. And then push yourself back up to seated. We'll try the other side. So again, we'll build this one from butterfly with the feet together, the knees apart. From here, bend your left leg. Again, remembering I'm not mirroring you, you're welcome to mirror me or just listen. Bend your right leg so that your right shin is parallel to the front of your mat and your right thigh is parallel to the side of your mat. So right knee in line with right hip, right ankle in line with right knee, an upside down L like Linda, 90-degree angle. From here, shifting your weight to the right side, to the right hip, bend your left knee on the floor, and eventually left knee in line with your left hip, eventually bringing the left foot to the left ankle in line with the left knee. So again, showing you from the side, trying to eventually make 2 90-degree angles. It doesn't have to be today. Again, you might notice that your left hip is really far off the floor, and that's okay. You can always walk your hands to one side, or for a deeper hip flexor stretch, try to anchor 2 hips down. Sorry if I haven't mentioned this yet, but one of my favorite things to talk about in yoga is that we are not symmetrical, right? So this side might feel way different. Honor that, notice it, don't judge or attach. Again, you're welcome to walk your hands forward, to walk your hands back behind you, to the right or to the left. Sometimes our lack of symmetry can be frustrating. Like, why is one side of this posture so easy and the other side so hard? But I think it's just an opportunity for a little bit of grace and a reminder that we're not butterflies, right? We're not symmetrical. We're not perfectly, perfect. We're perfectly imperfect, right? Sometimes I hear yoga teachers say, like, yoga will make you symmetrical. And if somebody tells you that, run, because your 2 eyes will never be the exact same shape. And that's okay, right? That's part of what makes you kind of cool. And the other neat thing about yoga is we get to notice these asymmetries, and then you start to connect dots. Like, why is this one posture easier on the right side, but then in that other posture, it's easier on the left side? And then maybe you start to notice how your right shoulder affects your left hip. And then maybe you start to notice how you sleep, how you walk, how much water you're drinking, how that stuff's affecting your body. And then you start to notice how who you're surrounding yourself with is affecting your body. And then you start to notice how your thoughts are affecting your body. And then you have a little bit more information, and then maybe you can start to be a little bit nicer to yourself, maybe making good decisions, whatever that is, with drinking water, nourishing your body, surrounding yourself with good people. And we can't always control everything going on around us, but for today, I'll invite you just to savor and control one breath. Take a slow inhale through your nose, and a slow exhale through your nose. And if you could be present in that breath, try again. Take a slow inhale through your nose, and a slow exhale through your nose. Noticing any tension in the body, and just letting it go. Okay. Taking about 30 more seconds here. Maybe, deepening by going back or forward more, maybe staying just how you are. As you're ready, slowly returning to center. And we'll go into Pigeon Pose on this side. So you're welcome to bring your right heel closer to your groin or keep the right shin parallel to your mat. Walk your hands forward and maybe a little to the right and start to straighten the left leg out behind you, eventually sinking the 2 hips down. Again, from the side, you can have your heel close to your hip or ankle and knee in line, shin parallel. You can have your hands in front of you or beside you, and it's an excellent opportunity to use a yoga block, a toilet paper roll, a blanket, something under the left hip. Notice if the left hip is way further back than the right hip. You do want to try and roll the left hip down so the 2 hips are parallel. And you can have your hands on the floor in front of you, either with elbows bent or with arms out, or you can keep your arms up. Stay here for 2 minutes and breathe. Shoulders away from the ears. Slowly letting the hips sink down. Noticing any tension that no longer belongs to you, and let it go with the exhale breath. It's a reminder, not all tension is bad, the same way that not all stress is bad, right? Or all anxiety is bad. Like anxiety, stress, tension, it's there for a reason. It protects us in certain situations. It gets us to do things. Tension literally helps us sit upright. So it's not all bad, but it's bad when it starts to get in the way, right? It's bad when anxiety gets in the way of doing normal things, or tension gets in the way of your ability to relax your shoulders and breathe deeply. So again, noticing that the idea of tension or stress isn't necessarily inherently bad in and of itself, but when it starts to hinder your ability to move, think, act in the world, maybe it's gone a little bit too far. And again, returning to this idea of the mind-body connection, using the breath to center yourself in the only moment, the present moment. Take a slow inhale through your nose. And as you exhale, maybe letting go of some tension that no longer belongs to you. Maybe it served you at one point, but not anymore. Let the shoulders relax. Head be soft. Take 3 more breaths here. Maybe going deeper, maybe staying where you are. Great. And as you're ready, walk yourself back up. Slowly shifting your weight to your right hip to bend the left leg back. And then returning to puddle pose, lying on your back. And you can bend the knees at first and just windshield wiper the legs, right, left, right, left. And then returning to puddle, not puzzle, arms down. Especially if you're on a relatively hard surface, really use that to your advantage, letting every joint, ligament, tendon, muscle, bone, everything kind of stretching and lengthening to the floor from the crown of your head all the way down to your toes, every space in between. Think about creating space, expansiveness, room for light and air. Through letting go of old tension no longer needed, we allow space for more relaxation, more compassion towards ourselves and others. Take a slow inhale through your nose, and an even slower exhale through your nose. Great. Here, we'll do banana pose, everybody's favorite. So picture your favorite banana, Chiquita, Dole, organic, Trader Joe's. Feet together, arms over your head. And this time, you're gonna bring your feet to the right of your mat and your hands to the right of your mat, stretching the left side body. You can cross one foot over the other, one hand over the other. You can keep them side by side. You can always deepen the stretch by bringing your right feet a little more to the right and your feet a little more to the right and your hands a little more to the right, or ease up, bringing them closer to center. You're welcome to keep your head on the floor looking up towards the ceiling, or you can look a little bit to the left side of the room or the right side of the room, whatever feels good for you. Let the shoulders and hips be heavy. This is deeply uncomfortable for your lower back. You're welcome to have a little bit of a pillow or towel or blanket under the lower back. Again, knowing you can always deepen the stretch or ease up. Whatever feels right for you in this moment is wonderful. Let your belly relax, jaw relax. Feel the neck lengthening, whole left side of the body stretching, lengthening. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. As you're ready, returning back to center. Arms down for a moment, legs apart, puddle pose. You can roll out the hips and shoulders right and left. Then we'll do the other side, arms over your head, feet together. Bringing your feet to the left side of your mat, arms to the left side of your mat, maybe pushing the hips to the right. Again, maybe one foot crossed on top of the other. Notice which foot is on top. Is it same or different as the other side? Maybe hands side by side, or maybe holding one hand and the other. There's no right or wrong. If you cross your left foot on top of your right foot on both sides, that's not inherently wrong, but like it's something to notice, right? And then if you start to notice that you always cross your left leg on top of your right leg when you sit, well, maybe that's why one hip feels a little different than the other, right? Again, it's just an opportunity to check in and then breathe and be still. Take a slow inhale through your nose. A slow exhale through the nose, letting the body soften. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. And as you're ready, return back to center. Arms down by your sides, puddle pose. The last posture we'll do together is a spine twist, and I'll give you a few different variations. Keep your left leg straight on the floor. Start by bending your right leg up, so knee to the ceiling, right foot on the floor. You can have your hands out to the sides or cactused like gold posts. From here, start to bring your right knee to the left side of your body. One day knee on the floor, doesn't have to be today or tomorrow. You are welcome to put a yoga block or toilet paper roll between your knee on the floor if that helps ease the tension. And then try to keep 2 shoulders on the floor. You can look up towards the ceiling or to the right side of the room. This is option 1. For a deeper stretch, you can straighten your right leg, maybe even bringing your left hand, your right thigh, knee, shin, maybe one day even catching your right foot with your left hand. This is option 2. Feel a nice stretch through the IT band on the right thigh, a little bit more of an abdominal wall stretch. Option 3 is cat pulling its tail. So for option 3, you'd keep the right knee bent, and then the left leg that's straight on the floor, you'll bend the left leg, and maybe even grab your left foot with your right hand. This is option 3. Again, noticing whatever feels good for you. Just be still and breathe. Maybe trying to roll the right shoulder down to the floor a little bit more. Take a slow inhale through your nose. And a slow exhale through your nose. As you're ready, carefully uncurling. So if your left knee is bent, straighten the left leg. If your right leg is straight, bend the right leg. And then with the help of one or both hands, slowly rolling the right hip back down, right foot on the floor, and then straighten your right leg for puddle pose. And you can roll your hips or shoulders out if you need to. And then just feel the release from the spine twist and the stretch through the glute and thigh. Okay, we'll do the other side. Again, 3 options. We'll start by bending the left leg, left foot on the floor, taking your right hand to your left knee, and carefully drawing the left knee down towards the floor. Again, this side might feel similar, or it might feel wildly different for a variety of reasons. You can use a prop, a block of some sort under your left knee. You can straighten the left leg, maybe touching your left thigh with your right hand, maybe grabbing the knee, the shin, one day hooking onto the big toe or the foot. You can also keep the left leg bent and also bend your right leg, maybe catching the right foot with the right hand. Have your arms out to the side or cactus, like goalposts. Try to roll the left shoulder down. And then just be still and look up to the ceiling or to the left side of the room. Take a slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose. As you're ready, if you're in cat, catching its tail, straightening the right leg. If your left leg is straight, bending the left leg. And then using one or both hands, slowly rolling back to center, left hip down, left shoulder down, left leg down, puddle pose. You can roll the hips out right and left. This is our final position for this evening. Let your palms maybe face the ceiling. Relax through the crown of your head, your forehead, eyebrows. Relax your eyelids and your jaw, and the rest of your body will follow. So relax your eyes, your eye sockets. Relax your eyelashes, the eyelids. Relax between the nose, the temples. Relax your cheeks, your gums. Relaxing the lips, tongue. Relax your jaw. Relax your jaw. Relax your jaw, and the rest of the body will follow. Take a slow inhale through the nose, imagining inhaling a warm, soft yellow-orange light. As you slowly exhale through the nose, imagine this light spreading through the spine, through the shoulders, palms, arms, down through the lower back, the hips, thighs, all the way to the feet. Feeling this warm light warming you up from the inside out. Picture yourself in perfect, radiant health. Take a slow inhale through your nose, inhaling this warm, inviting light. Slow exhale through the nose, feeling this light pass through the throat, through the heart, belly button, root, through the feet and palms. Picture yourself in perfect, radiant health. One more time, slow inhale through the nose, feeling the body warmed by this light, this love, this inner peace, grace, joy. A slow exhale through the nose, feeling the limbs get softer, and picture yourself in perfect, radiant health.